Hey, I want to talk with you today about something that completely changed my life. How the stock market, especially options trading, can create the kind of freedom most people only dream about. I know what you might be thinking right now. Oh, great. Another get rich quick scheme. Or options trading is way too complicated and risky for someone like me. But that's exactly the misconception I want to address today, just between us. What if the path to financial freedom through the market is actually much simpler than people make it out to be? Most traders overcomplicate everything, when the real edge comes from understanding a few fundamental principles and positioning yourself correctly in the market. The stock market is actually the perfect environment for building wealth when you think about it. Where else can you find an arena with constant price movement every single day? The market is always in motion, creating opportunities to profit regardless of economic conditions. Unlike real estate or starting a business, you don't need a good market to make money. You just need movement. And the liquidity is incredible. You can enter and exit positions almost instantly. Imagine trying to sell a house in a day, or closing a business when you want out. The stock market gives you immediate liquidity that almost no other investment vehicle can match. Then there's the sheer volume. Trillions of dollars move through the markets daily. This means there's always someone to take the other side of your trade. You can start with relatively small amounts of capital compared to other businesses or investments. And through options and other instruments, you can control large positions with relatively small amounts of capital. The beauty of it all? The market is designed to transfer money from one participant to another. Your job is simply to position yourself on the right side of that transfer more often than not. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think successful trading requires complex technical indicators, sophisticated algorithms, insider information, expensive software, and years of specialized education. But in my experience, the most consistently profitable traders I know focus on much simpler things. They understand market structure, how price typically moves, and the patterns it creates. They practice solid risk management, knowing exactly how much they could lose before entering a trade. They're careful about position sizing, never risking too much on any single idea. They think in terms of probability, taking trades with a statistical edge over time. And perhaps most importantly, they manage their own psychology, keeping emotions and biases in check. That's really it. Everything beyond these core principles is just noise. Think about casinos for a second. They don't need complex strategies to make money, right? They simply ensure the odds are slightly in their favor on every game, and then they let probability work its magic over time. Trading can work the same way when you understand how to stack the odds in your favor. Now, options trading specifically can accelerate your path to freedom in ways regular stock trading simply can't. Options get a bad reputation because they're often misused by people who don't understand them. But when used correctly, the advantages are incredible. With certain option strategies, you can define your risk from the start, knowing exactly the maximum amount you could lose before entering a trade. No surprises, no margin calls in the middle of the night. You can create asymmetric returns where you risk $1 to potentially make $3, $5, or even $10. Good luck finding those ratios consistently in regular stock trading. What really excites me about options is the multiple ways to profit. With stocks, you basically need the price to go up unless you're shorting. But with options, you can profit if the stock goes up, down, sideways, or even if it just moves at all regardless of direction. The capital efficiency is amazing too. You can control the same amount of stock for a fraction of the capital, freeing up your money for other opportunities. And the flexibility to adjust your positions as market conditions change gives you so much more control over your outcomes. Options allow you to be more precise about exactly what you're betting on. Instead of just saying, I think this stock will go up, you can say, I think this stock will move at least 5% in either direction within the next 30 days. That precision is incredibly powerful. Here's the part most gurus won't tell you. The actual mechanics of extracting capital from the market are surprisingly simple. It comes down to finding inefficiencies, places where the market has mispriced something. Then you exploit those inefficiencies by taking positions that capitalize on the mispricing. You manage your risk carefully to ensure you stay in the game even when you're wrong. And you make enough trades that your edge plays out over time through the law of large numbers. That's it. Everything else is just details. Most people don't fail because trading is inherently difficult. They fail because they don't stick to a proven process. They let emotions override their system. They risk too much on single trades. They overcomplicate what should be simple, and they don't give their edge enough time to play out. Let me show you what I mean with a few real-world examples. Consider what I call the reversion to mean trade. Stocks often overreact to news in the short term, then return to their average price. A simple strategy is identifying these overreactions and positioning for the reversion using option strategies like vertical spreads. Or think about volatility expansion plays. Before major announcements like earnings, options often underpriced the potential move. Buying straddles or strangles before these events can capture the volatility expansion regardless of which direction the stock moves. And one of my favorites is trend following with defined risk. Instead of trying to predict tops and bottoms, which is nearly impossible, you simply align yourself with the established trend using call or put debit spreads, defining your maximum risk from the start. These aren't complex strategies requiring advanced degrees or sophisticated algorithms. They simply require understanding market behavior and positioning yourself correctly. Now let's talk about why this matters. The freedom part. Because that's really what this is all about. When you can consistently extract capital from the market, everything in your life changes. You gain time freedom. No more trading hours for dollars, as your income isn't tied to your time input. You have location freedom to trade from anywhere with an internet connection. Your home, a beach in Thailand, or a cafe in Paris. Financial freedom means generating income regardless of the broader economy or job market. You experience psychological freedom with no boss, no clients, no one to please but yourself. And you have decision freedom to make choices based on what you want, not what you can afford. This isn't just about making money. It's about creating a life where you're in control, where your resources, both financial and temporal, are yours to direct as you see fit. That's the ultimate form of wealth, optionality in how you live your life. If you're feeling inspired to explore this path, let me share how I'd recommend getting started. First, focus on education. Learn the fundamentals of options before risking real money. Understand the Greeks, different strategies, and how options are priced. Then paper trade for a while. Practice with a simulated account until you're consistently profitable. When you move to real money, start small until your process is proven. Focus on your process rather than outcomes, because in the short term, results can be random. Judge yourself on whether you followed your system, not on whether any individual trade was profitable. Track everything you do in detail so you can identify what's working and what isn't. Manage risk religiously. Never risk more than a small percentage of your account on any single trade. And develop that emotional discipline to act on your plan rather than your feelings. The path to freedom through trading isn't about finding some secret indicator or holy grail strategy. It's about consistently applying sound principles, managing risk, and allowing the probabilities to work in your favor over time. Let me leave you with this thought. The market transfers billions of dollars every day from those who don't know what they're doing to those who do. The question isn't whether those transfers will happen. They will. The question is whether you'll position yourself to be on the receiving end. The beauty of this path is that you don't need to be a genius. You don't need connections or special advantages. You just need to understand how the game works and play it with discipline and consistency. Most people overlook this path to freedom because they're intimidated by its perceived complexity. But I hope I've shown you today that the fundamental principles are actually quite simple. Not always easy to execute, but simple to understand. Financial freedom isn't just for the privileged few. With the right knowledge and approach, the market offers a level playing field where anyone can succeed. It's about seeing the simplicity where others see complexity and having the discipline to execute consistently where others get distracted. Look, I know how overwhelming this journey can be when you're starting out. I was there once too, making all the classic mistakes, overcomplicating everything, and nearly giving up several times. Having the right guidance can save you years of frustration and tens of thousands in avoidable losses. If you'd like my personal help navigating this path, I've included a link in the description where you can schedule a one-on-one paid consultation call with me. We'll look at your specific situation, goals, and create a customized game plan to get you where you want to go faster. Or if you're not ready for that level of commitment yet, join my Discord community for free. I share daily market insights, answer questions, and we have an amazing group of traders at different levels all helping each other grow. The link for that is in the description as well. Whatever path you choose, just make sure you're taking action. The principles I've shared today work, but only if you apply them. Until next time, happy trading.